Hi, this is Praios, and yeah, I used to be a professional gambler, and today we will look into the hand that changed everything in poker, the greatest hand in history. This is, according to Poker Bounty, the best hand ever. Not sure which hand will come up. I didn't watch the video yet. My personal best hand would be Sam Farha against Chris Moneymaker, who ran a big bluff against him. Not sure if I can find the hand quickly. Yeah, but basically, I think he bluffed Sammy Farha out of top pair or something in the heads up.
You said it's going to be over soon.
Let's see if we can find it. I think that's the hand.
And is a 3 of hearts.
Yeah.
Moneymaker doesn't get to either draw.
Yes, the 9, and yeah,
and the pair of nines is
he's going
best.
all in or something on him and running a very big bluff. This started the big poker boom online, so I think that's would be my favorite. Two more hands come to mind, which I found very memorable. This is Tom Dwan, where he is bluffing against, like, in a family pot with Queen 10 and getting Greenstein to fold aces and Eastgate to fold trips on high stakes poker. Also many years ago, this hand. And this one is also very crazy. It's bluff versus bluff, and I think on the flop they both more or less know that the other guy does not have it. And they go like bet, raise, re-raise, and then I think Phil Ivey goes all in and yeah, wins the pot. I mean, what he didn't knew is probably that he was bluffing with the best hand. But let's see what the greatest hand should be according to Poker Bounty.
There's nobody that ever beat me playing cards. The only one that ever beat me was myself with my bad habits. But when I get to playing like I was on stroke this tournament, I really believe that no one can play with me on a daily basis.
Looks like he chooses another hand.
In the annals of poker history, one hand stands out as a seismic shockwave that reverberated through the poker world. Stu Ungar's legendary masterpiece. With unfathomable audacity and uncanny instincts, Ungar executed a mind-boggling play that left even the most seasoned players in awe and redefined the boundaries of the game and brought
I think I don't know this hand yet, so this will be interesting.
an infamous poker rivalry to an end. This is the story of the hand that shocked the poker world. In 1990, Stu Ungar stood on the brink of history with a chance to claim his third WSOP main event title. With a commanding chip lead on the penultimate day of the tournament, it seemed like victory was within his grasp. When the tournament was set to resume the next day, anticipation turned to worry as Stu was nowhere to be found. His absence sent ripples of unease, and his friend Billy Baxter, who had staked him into the event, embarked on a frantic search for the missing poker legend. Finally, they discovered Stu Ungar in his hotel room, lying unconscious on the floor. The air was thick with tension and fear as the truth emerged. He had overdosed. Rushed to the hospital, his dreams of WSOP glory came crashing down in a haze of uncertainty. The once dominant chip stack that held the promise of victory now dwindled away, blind by blind, as Ungar's seat remained empty at the poker table.
Sick story, didn't knew about that one. But yeah, very cool. Yeah, I guess he will make the sick comeback.
He ultimately finished in 9th place for 25.
Okay, he's not making the sick comeback, so he had to stay in hospital, it looks like.
$5,000. It was a humiliating experience for the legendary player. The winner of the main event that year was Mansour Matloubi, who defeated the formidable Hans Lund to take home the prestigious title and $835,000 in prize money.
How long is this ago?
Mansour's performance throughout the tournament was nothing short of incredible, leaving spectators in awe of his poker prowess. But he did not stop there. Just a few months later, he continued to impress by claiming a remarkable second-place finish in another high-stakes $10,000 tournament, earning an additional $160,000. As news of his
1990 it was.
Back-to-back success spread, the poker world began buzzing with excitement, and comparison started.
I'm a bit bored already. I want to see the hand and not all these story that happened before.
To surface. Matlubi's fearless and aggressive playing style earned him the moniker the new Stu Ungar. Matlubi's meteoric rise to poker stardom left a recovering Stu Ungar both envious and incensed. Driven by a burning desire to reclaim his poker throne and make a bold statement to the world, Stu Ungar was determined to show that he still possessed the unmatched skills that had made him a poker legend. Despite his absence from the final day of the tournament, Stu Ungar staunchly asserted that had he been able to compete, he would have effortlessly outplayed Monsieur Matlubi and the other remaining contenders to seize the coveted title of the world champion once more.
I think this is actually probably true. I mean, if he has a dominant chip lead, he should be the favorite. He also was one of the best players in his day, so yeah, he was definitely the favorite if he could have been continued.
In a bold move, Stu threw down the gauntlet, challenging Matlubi to a high-stakes, winner-take-all showdown. The stakes were set at an intense $50,000, a sum that reflected the intensity of their animosity and the desire for supremacy on
50,000 is not that much nowadays, but yeah, back in the day, prize money was lower. The big poker boom didn't start yet, no online poker yet, so I guess this was a big amount for the days.
The poker stage. Matlubi, undaunted by the confrontation, readily accepted the invitation to prove himself against the poker legend. The match occurred at Binian's Horseshoe during the 1992 World Series. Regrettably, there were no cameras to capture the moment, leaving us only with the accounts passed down through spoken testimony. As the two players settled into their seats, a palpable sense of intensity hung in the air. More than just money was at stake. It was a clash of egos and a battle for poker supremacy.
By the way, is the movie about Stu Ungar? I think this guy is clearly an actor, not Stu Ungar, but where is this footage coming from?
Matlubi seized an early advantage, but the relentless aggression of Stu Ungar soon pulled him back into the fray. The chips stood at $60,000 for Ungar and $40,000 for Matlubi when the final hand unfolded. The blinds were 200-400 with no ante. Ungar had the button and he raised to $1,600 with 10-9 offsuit. Matlubi called with 4-5 off. The flop was a rainbow of 7-3-3. Ungar was known for his overbets sometimes, but on this flop, he chose an unusual moment to utilize this play, betting $6,000 into a pot of 32.
By the way, this footage is not chosen that wisely. I mean, let's go back a bit. Why the fuck is an open jack here? This is... Okay, let's
to utilize this play, betting $6,000 into a pot of 3,200. Matlubi, with just a gut shot draw, made what is a terrible call, assuming he didn't have a read that Ungar was light and had a plan. On 4th Street, a king came off and both players checked. On the river, a queen came and Matlubi, smelling weakness in Stewie, bet his last $32,400. Stu Ungar was not...
I mean, what should he do? He has like the nut low almost, so he had to do something about it. And if you call the flop with just a gut shot, you cannot rely on just hitting your hand. I mean, it's not that terrible. The call might be terrible odds-wise, but yeah, otherwise, river play seems fine to me.
Not renowned for engaging in table talk during his poker matches. He was more likely to yell at the dealer than to chat with his opponent to get a read. When Stu did speak during a hand, it was rarely to discuss the weather or make casual conversation. Instead, his words carried the weight of authority and dominance. Stewie looked right through Mansoor and within 10 seconds he said, "You have 4-5 or 5-6, I'm gonna call you with this." Stewie then flipped up 10-9 off and called the 32,400 bet with merely 10 high. Stu Ungar's unexpected call left Matlubi stunned and reeling with disbelief. In a moment of utter defeat,
This doesn't seem like the wisest call ever. I mean, it is a very sick call, but imagine how stupid he would have looked if he would be wrong. And he certainly could be wrong. And his opponent might even be bluffing with a better hand. So, yeah, I'm not that impressed with this play. I mean, this is just results orientation and seeing the result of the hand. But yeah, if he would have made this call, being wrong, he would look like the biggest idiot. And if he makes this call and is right, he's like a genius. So yeah, this is stupid results orientated thinking. There's also a hand where Tom Dwan does something like that. I think he also calls it like Jack High or something, putting his opponent on an open man and straight draw or something, and he is wrong.
Matlubi felt as though a relentless bulldozer had mercilessly flattened him. The weight of that critical hand had a profound impact on Matlubi, and he recalled, when a guy makes a call like that against you, you just give up. It's like he's drained all the energy from your sails. The experience left Matlubi emotionally crushed, and he realized...
Yeah, the thing also is, back in the day, probably poker theory wasn't that far as it is today. And as the hand played out, it makes a lot of sense that he has then the gut shot, but yeah, still, quite ambitious call.
That trying to face Stu Ungar in a heads-up, no-limit hold'em battle was an insurmountable challenge, at least on that particular day, if not for the foreseeable future. In the aftermath of that intense showdown, Matlubi made a difficult decision. He resolved that he could no longer face Stu Ungar heads up in the poker arena. That pivotal hand proved to be the last time the two poker giants engaged in a one-on-one confrontation, bringing an end to their head-to-head battles forever. During the critical hand, Stu Ungar found himself in a situation where a standard continuation bet on the flop would have sufficed, but he opted for an unusually larger sizing. Despite the aggressive sizing, Matlubi decided to make a somewhat optimistic call, taking into account the meta.
Still the jack. I mean, this is like a stupid casino game or something, what he's showing footage on.
Game dynamics of the time. In the context of the era, calling on certain board textures like this one represented holding monster hands such as trips or boats.
Yeah, I mean, if he's calling 6k in a 3k pot, this is clearly terrible.
To balance this range, Matlubi chose a gutshot straight draw, giving himself the potential to improve to a stronger hand on later
Not sure if he thought that far.
streets. As the turn card fell, both players checked, a decision that seemed reasonable for Matlubi given the range advantage Ungar might have after his massive flop bet. Stu Ungar, on the other hand, might have been concerned that Matlubi had a strong hand after his call on the flop. When the river arrived, Matlubi found himself with his weakest holding, making it an ideal candidate for a bluff. However, his decision to overbet the pot by more than 2x was highly polarizing, revealing either a bluff.
Yeah, it also, I mean, what are you calling with on the flop? Like a pocket pair or something maybe. But the pocket pair, I mean, he's probably not having kings or queens, like a lower pocket pair, like 5, 6s or stuff, which he's not value betting for this amount. Also a 7 that might call on the flop, he's not value betting for this amount. He could have a 3, but some 3s also fold pre-flop. I mean, I guess most sense makes 7-7, 3-3, and trips, choosing this line as a value bet. Yeah, and the bluffs, probably the gut shots. Could also, I mean, if he's calling a gut shot on the flop, he might also call like a hand that contains a king, like King Jack or something, which he's now going for value with. Although it's still highly polarizing.
Or an extremely strong hand. This overbet might have been the factor that ultimately led to his downfall. Ungar, astute as ever, likely sensed the situation and recognized that Matlubi's big flop call, followed by a turn check, appeared weak. Had Matlubi held a monster hand, he might have bet smaller to get value. Despite the intricate mind games at play, Ungar's instincts kicked in, hinting that something was amiss. In the end, This complex hand showcased the depth of both players' strategic thinking and the intricate dance of poker psychology. For more such amazing poker stories, click the links in the description.
Not sure. I mean, this is a... don't like this that much. Let's watch some
11
other
hours or so to this point.
favorite hands.
Don't do it.
This was the hand I choose at
Chris
the
Moneymaker's going to do it anyway. Reaches
most important
for
one.
100,000 chips with a king 7. Sam Farha with a
Let's see if
queen
this
9.
works. Yeah, it works.
We'll call that bet.
He said everything.
When it's heads up, odd things happen.
I mean, this
Flop
start of the
comes
poker
9,
boom is
2,
not that
6. Farha has made
spectacular.
a pair of
otherwise.
9s. Chris Moneymaker has nothing and checks.
Oh, I didn't remember that both picked up the flush draw on the turn.
Checks for Farha as well. The turn is an 8.
And now they both have a spade draw.
300,000 from Sam Farha.
Who has the pair of 9s, and Moneymaker also has a straight draw and will raise.
There's a 300. No, I raise.
Very adamant about his raise.
Indeed. Still stacking chips. It's a big raise.
5 more.
This looks a little bit like string bet type bet, and I'm also not sure how much I like this raise, because is he not betting the back in the day? Is he not betting the flush draw on the flop? I mean, I don't even remember who has initiative. Maybe I'm wrong.
500,000 is the raise.
It's quite a play. It's sort of a semi-bluff. He still could
Also, sort of small raise.
get there on a straight draw or flush draw, but he has nothing right now, and Sam comes right on
At
in.
least he has an open ender too.
We're going to see the river card.
Who says it's going to be over soon?
It may well be. And is a 3 of hearts.
Moneymaker doesn't get to either draw, and the pair of 9s is best.
I'm all in.
Chris Moneymaker going all in with nothing.
A stunning play from Moneymaker, who missed his draws, has nothing, and now has put Sam Farha all in.
This is like the iconic hand after this poker blew up so big. I mean, it's not that amazing otherwise, but yeah, I think I still had this remembered.
He would have to put all his
And like the underdog beats the pro,
chips in if he lost.
and everyone can get rich in poker. That's like the story about Moneymaker, and he also has a perfect name.
This pot, he would be out of the tournament. Moneymaker bluffed at this once, and Farha came. He's now
like
bluffing at it
tanking
again.
forever, and then
Sam Farha trying to draw something out
some
of Chris.
point folds.
Don't do it, Sam.
He is not going to do it. Chris Moneymaker bluffs Sam Farha out of a big stack of money.
And considering this situation, I know we're early in the century, but that's the bluff of the century.
Yeah, bluff of the century, like the commentator says. And yeah, this hand also quite cool.
This is gonna
Not
be the
sure if I
sickest
can
call
find
of
it.
all time.
Also got 7 people behind him.
Yeah, that's like
In this pot, they got 7
think
callers.
that's-
That's all I like.
Barry can't be comfortable getting so many callers.
A 10 and 2 deuces on the flop.
Peter Eastgate's flopped 3 deuces.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good flop for Barry. He wants to see what's going on.
that's 10,000.
love this
Dwan's
hand.
got 10s with a queen kicker,
I mean, it's so crazy what he's doing.
but he's also got 7 people behind him. And Barry's fight a continuation bet.
You know that was a Gale Sayers, don't you? That was a Gale Sayers.
He also would have looked so stupid if it didn't work out. But it will.
Dwan's going to raise to 37,300.
I don't know what he's doing. He's got to know that Barry's really got a hand here.
Seems a bit suicidal, obviously, and it is. Also don't know why Eastgate is in with deuce 4.
It's possible with 8 players in the hand that somebody has a deuce, like Peter Eastgate. So I don't know.
Yeah, but how many hands are you playing with a deuce in it, honestly?
Understand why Dwan would raise that much money.
And to his credit, he's the guy probably most likely having a deuce, as yeah, he is a crazy, very loose dude.
But Peter Eastgate seems a little intimidated by the raise.
And he's going to call.
He just calls. And now what's Barry going to do with his?
I think Barry should also probably move on and fold. He's facing a raise and a cold call. His ace is probably not good. I mean, is Dwan raising with a weaker hand? I mean, he is, but how are the odds that he is? And then is Greenstein calling with something he beats as well, like whatever, ace 10, which he's also blocking heavily.
His aces.
But Barry does not give a fuck and calls.
Barry calls. It's turning out to be a...
I mean, it's not that bad as Dwan is blocking 10-10, so diminishing the odds that someone has a full house. I mean, someone could still have quads.
very interesting hand.
Yeah. 7 on the turn.
Peter and Barry check. Of the 3 players, Dwan is... Peter Eastgate releases. He thinks, well, Dwan could very easily have ace deuce.
Dwan firing again on the turn.
And I'm not risking all this money. But
I mean, I don't even know why he's tanking that long. I mean, I think at this point it should be an easy fold. Maybe he had some sort of read, but wasn't able to go with it.
Very fold the best hand.
Yeah, that's another iconic hand. Dwan at some point picks
I
it
was
up.
gonna move in against
Peter's
call. I figured you could bet into that.
And yeah, this is like also a very, very sick hand.
But he's up 100,000, so I must be doing something right.
Beat that
Paul
out.
Jackson, however, has...
Fortunately, this is
Sahami has raises to 4,000
This is
with
like
his ace 10 offsuit. The ground is in with
best
7s.
quality we have.
Peter Eastgate's got a second big pair in a
And
row.
that's a pretty standard poker
And
play,
he's gonna
Barry.
raise to 20
The
grand.
big... Okay. I've got
Thing
queen
is,
high, but I'll take a stab
they
at
get
it.
these Jack 7 flop. Nobody has anything.
What's Mr. Dwan gonna...
We need to... And yeah, they go
And
after
look at
it
this.
very hard.
Re-raise by Jackson.
Wow.
So Jackson re-raises
100.
Ivey.
This may be the line in the sand here for Paul Jackson.
Phil Ivey, though, if he really thinks deeply about this, might be asking himself, well, now wait a minute. If this guy had a jack in his hand, would he re-raise me here? Probably not. So what the heck is he doing?
So he's thinking it, and the question is, will he
Wow.
overthink
A
it?
re-raise!
Well, there you are. Re-raises to 320,000. It's right back in the face of Paul Jackson.
We are watching another 150,000. Now
Yeah.
it's up to 470.
Yeah, like clicking
Almost
it back
a
and clicking
million
it back.
chips in this pot now.
Like, who's gonna
This
blink
is
first? Is this
incredible.
hand, more or less.
And you can almost hear the wheels turning in the head of Phil Ivey. Is this for real?
Right, and I'm thinking Phil Ivey has got to fold here.
A normal player would.
Yeah.
I mean, is his opponent going to raise him twice with nothing?
And the thing also is that's probably going through his mind. Is his opponent doing this if he has like 7-7 jacks or like trips? Is he fast playing, or is he just then calling one of the raises, being entirely sure that he could get the money in on a later street anyways?
After Phil Ivey has shown strength.
What's the other? 360.
Scary question
380.
to get asked if you put in like most of your shit bluffing.
380,000 is what Jackson finally arrives at.
Barry, let's put this in perspective. We're looking at a 1,000,000 chip pot, and both players have nothing. We are looking at 2 guys
Gonna have anything
bluffing with nothing. Both of them. Who's going to blink?
With 2 cards to come. I don't think
Boy,
he's going
Phil Ivey is not gonna blink.
I don't see how he can possibly continue in this hand. Everything Paul Jackson has done.
All in.
What?
That's why we're here and they're there.
Absolutely astonishing poker.
Got which point thinking is he?
Yeah, this is also a very cool hand. Yeah, anyways, I think my hands were a bit more influential than the one this guy chose. But this is not that well known, the one Poker Bounty chose. It was also an interesting one, although I got a bit bored as the story was that overblown and I just wanted to see the hand. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Yeah, until next time, good luck at the tables. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, all the good things, obviously. Bye-bye.